Good afternoon. We're going to show you how to properly replace a front brakes and rotors on a '03 Ford Expedition. Obviously move all the lug nuts. Place tires so you don't have to lift it that far. Okay, we're gonna pull that to the side. A little tensioner here we have to remove. With a screwdriver, put that aside. Then we are going to open up the calipers a little bit between the brakes. And then we have covers that cover the outside of the retaining bolts so they don't get dirt and grease in them. Put one in there and loosen it, and then one up here. Loosen it. Slide that retaining bolt out. The second one. Get that retaining bolt out. We're going to get a screwdriver. Try the caliper on up and lower until it slips out. Never let the caliper hang because it puts pressure on that hose. So just leave it there. We'll worry about that later. Take out the one pad. Okay, now we have to loosen the bracket that holds the caliper, which is held on by two 18mm bolts. Okay, if the wrench is too tight, then we'll have to go with a pry bar to loosen this one bolt. And also this top one. Once they are loose, get our 18mm socket on our air ratchet. Loosen that up, put it aside. And the caliper housing put to the side. Now if the rotor is stuck to the housing, you need to get a pry bar to pry against the rotor on one end and bang on the other. carefully not to hit wheel studs. As you can see, it popped off. The new rotors will come with a film of oil on them, which has to be removed before placing on the vehicle. What I do is I take it out of the bag and box, place it there, use a brake cleaner, spray the surface of the rotor, and then wipe with a clean rag to get all that oil off on both sides of the rotor. After oil is properly removed, it is now time to replace the rotor. Line up the studs. Actually, just slip it on. Now what we have to do is put the caliper bracket back on. Those two bolts I took out before. Place in place. Place in place. Start them, always start both by hand. And of course, retighten. Never tighten one without tightening the other one first. Next, we are going to take our C-clamp and push the caliper back to the starting position so we can fit our new brake pads on. As you can see, take the time, the fluid has to run back up. This process will eliminate any air in the system, because we're not letting any air in, not letting any air out. Pushing the fluid back up to the master cylinder. Now this is a 2-piston caliper. So I use the brake shoe, the brake pad, to actually push on the 2 pistons. Loosen it. Now we can properly remove the old brake pad. There's little clips that we have to clip off. As you can see, what holds it in the 2 pistons. Then we're going to get our new brake pads which are, and place it back into those two pistons. It should be easily snapped in. We're going to get our second new pad, and there's a little sensor here. Always put the sensor on the first contact of the wheel going forward. As you can see, if it wears down, that's the first place it's going to hit to let you know you need new brakes. Then we're going to get the caliper and properly install it back where it belongs. And there's two retaining bolts which we use the torque T to tighten. Always make sure both of them get started before you tighten one. Snug it up a little bit. Same with this. Snug it up a little bit. Then we're going to take our two covers and replace them back for next time. We'll straighten up the wheel. We're going to put our retaining clip back on. And that's what it looks like when it's properly installed. What it does is add tension to the caliper. And then replace the tire and wheel. Get them all started. And then get your impact that is properly set for the torque specified for each vehicle. Always cross pad. I usually just double check them. To make sure they're tight. Get the hubcap cover. And we are done to replace front brake pads on an 03 Expedition and rotor. Thank you.